Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. If Paris is the city of love, then what's the city of hate? Also Paris. This guy has been to Paris lol. November 2018 I went to Paris, every car was on fire, enormous protests that were pretty violent. I have been to Paris a few times before, it's a cool place, but city of love? Not so sure haha. Statistically speaking, it's Tajura. https://m.wikipedia.org/wiki. Edit. One or two readers have pointed out that this wiki article cites a single source, which is a Mexican advocacy group. A biased source, which may explain why so many Mexican cities are on the list. This post wasn't meant to be taken all that seriously. If I'd known it would blow up, I'd have been more careful with my data. Anyway, Tajura is a pretty hateful, murderous place, but it may or may not be the murder capital of the world. There's literally been one murdered journalist there every week this year. It takes major balls to be a journalist or a politician in Mexico. The city of hate is the streets of Paris, as well as the suburbs. Makes me think of the movie La Haya. Lane Police. Wiki uri diri. I literally had a Paris police officer tell me that he doesn't speak English, in perfect English, while asking for directions. Then tell me to fuck off, he's on break smoking, again, in perfect English. Paris is the city of hate. Edit. To clarify a little, one of the other 5 cops he was standing around smoking with must have told him off in French, because after that he gave me directions, in English. So he clearly did speak it, he was just being a dick. The only 2 things in English I know is I don't speak English, and this sentence describing how I don't speak English. Q. Philly. My favorite thing about Philly was when, during the 2020 presidential campaign, Lou Dobbs suggested something along the lines of rounding up the boys and riding on down to Philly in order to put pressure on them. And Philly and its surrounding suburbs laughed uproariously. The city with the biggest fuck around and find out attitude. And suddenly the internet was filled with all these crazy stories of how Philly beheaded a friendly hitchhiking robot or booed a baby in Mets gear at a Phillies game or threw snowballs at Santa Claus during an Eagles game, or how a rapper was maced by a fan while on stage. Last year group of white nationalists tried to march in Philly and were so badly scared by the residents that they went running home. It's a little like having a fucking batshit crazy girlfriend who is so loyal and psycho she'll try to stab anyone who talks shit. You love her, but you kinda gotta be careful what you say. Edit. They threw snowballs long before they threw batteries. They also threw batteries. I'm old, guys. Honestly, 2020 really brought Philadelphia together. Kel's speech was a good description, but after 2020 the city rallied and Gritty became a hometown hero. He was cool before, but now I love him. That's when this tweet came out. Who the fuck goes to Philly with white nationalist shit? That's like trying to rape a wasp nest. Paris if you're not French. Mate. Paris, if you're not Parisian. Even the French don't like the capital. Johannesburg, South Africa has got to be a contender. The city was engineered according to apartheid principles and racist colonial influences. Best example so far. The others have some problems with poverty or crime, whereas Johannesburg is literally built on disgust for fellow humans. A lot of northern cities in the US were also designed to be racist. Such as tunnels being too short so buses couldn't take poor minorities to the beach, or public pools being designed to be cold because they thought black people wouldn't swim in cold water. Obviously not quite to the same extent as Johannesburg, but the racist city planning is a beloved trick the world over. Gary, idiot. I think that's the city of despair. I think they're just using the word city very liberally here. Philadelphia. I don't know why, but this just feels like the right answer based on experiences there. I've never seen people enjoy being angry quite like the good people of Philadelphia. Bill Burr attacked the crowd verbally instead of doing his act there too because they were an awful audience. Gritty is just such a perfect mascot. Gritty was initially rejected by the people of Philadelphia, but then he threatened to kill the Pittsburgh Penguins and was accepted. Sleep with one eye open, Bird. I loved when he was in the news for assaulting a child. Not the assaulting a child part, but if there was any mascot to be accused of assaulting a child, it was Gritty. Fresno, California. I think it should be renamed Dick City. Everyone here hating. Literally last night I'm at a light, 3 lanes. To my right a carload of girls roll their window down and they're yelling at the girl in the car to the right of them. What the fuck are you looking at, bitch? I'm right here, bitch, I'm right here. The fuck? You got me fucked up, bitch, looky at me, the fuck you think you are, bitch? The bitch says get a life, what's wrong with you, I wasn't even looking at you. Then they both race off as the light turns green, still yelling shit down the street. You can't even look in someone's general direction here. That's just like one of a million exchanges I've seen like that. Everyone is so angry. Hi, born and raised freezer here. I actually wondered how far I had to go down to see this, because I had no doubt it was here. That's life in the Central Valley and gang culture. I nominate Bakersfield, CA as a runner-up. Scariest place I've ever stopped for gas. People across the street were staring daggers at me for making eye contact. They call it the armpit of California for a reason. Scoothorpe. I'm not a biologist. There's always a cunt in Scoothorpe. Good title for a movie. The Cunt of Scoothorpe. Ada, Turkey. Shooting at sun because it's too hot is such a common event that it has a different code than normal shooting / gun violence. Texans and Floridians, write that down, write that down. Shooting at sun because it's too hot. As someone who hates heat and bright sunlight, I now love Ada. Paris, France. Upvoting everyone who said Philadelphia before me. Voted America's #1 city to have a D-cell battery thrown at you for no reason. Go across the bridge to Camden and Philly will seem like Palo Alto. Free to enter, pay a toll to leave. I mean, Camden is basically East Philadelphia. Harrison, Arkansas. This is a bullshit claim. If you had been to Harrison, as I have, you would know that calling it a city is absolutely laughable. At best it's a podunk redneck shit kicker small town of hate. The most racist town in America trademark. I'll try to swing by if I'm ever feeling too comfortable or happy. Vidia, Texas would like a recount. Mostly because they're too fucking inbred to get over 9. Native Arkansan here. Always hated going through there and seeing the billboard that says, it's not wrong to love your people. White Pride Radio.com. Washington, D.C. Everyone you hate works there. Washington, D.C. is much nicer, stories there are still shocking though. Somebody Eli 5 this joke please. I don't keep up on current events. Iroto, Missouri. They have KKK meetings at the park on the weekends. I lived in Farmington for a few years, and always drove through Iroto heading towards Piedmont. Sounds about right. Hello fellow Southern Missouri folks, can confirm that Iroto is a racist shithole. Philadelphia. While in the Navy, Canadian, doing some sightseeing during a stop on our way to PR, Rosie Roads, we were jumped by a group of teens, not far from the Liberty Bell. The chase only ended when we were within sight of our ship. In all my world travels I have never been chased, like in the movies. I've been to some dodgy ports of call, but nothing compares to Philadelphia. I personally never had issues during port visits, but in Corfu, Greece, there were roving gangs of guys on scooters trying to start fights because the sailors were talking to their girlfriends. As an American, I always laugh when I think of motorcycle gangs riding Vespas. Detroit. Flint, Detroit. Don't fuck with Flint. Ah, someone got there before me. I'm British, married to a Michigander lady who lives over here in the UK. With me. Our US bank is in Flint and I'm still not sure if the separation of 3,600 miles is quite enough. Dallas, TX used to be nicknamed the City of Hate in reference to the assassination of JFK. That makes 2 of us that remember. Camden, NJ. Berlin 1932 to 1945. Berlin 1932 to 1989. Slough. Mom, I've made a big mistake. I went to Slough. Solid Tom Scott reference. It's Paris. I work in a 4-star hotel there. Trust me, my hatred alone is enough. Looking at the answers, I can see there are a lot of Americans here. Americans on Reddit. You just summarized Reddit. Philadelphia, PA. City of brotherly love. More like city of angrily shove from what I've seen and experienced. It why everyone hates on Philly. It's such a nice place with super inviting people. New Delhi. City with the most suicides in the world. There has to be a lot of hate to get to that number. That sounds more like despair than hate. Any data or source to back up this fact? I could not find any. Hard to believe that Delhi has more suicides vs SK/Japan. Right. It's more believable that Delhi has an overpopulation problem rather than being the suicide capital of the world. India isn't even in the top 10 countries with the most suicide rates lol.